today. As you know, we usually meet in the afternoon, and I also mentioned a few weeks ago that we will try different time zones and time slots for this streaming to occur. We are on multiple channels for the live event, including LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and we are on podcast and all of these other websites where it's recorded and where you can access it, as well as YouTube. So I would like to thank everybody, first of all, to be loyal, to come back to this program when it shows, and to come back and to also show your thumbs up and your encouragement. You can also use, by the way, the chat space on my right. If you have any questions, any comments, they're always welcome. And to subscribe on YouTube, please, because that's also very important. Um, the theme of today is something that, again, I only bring themes and topics that are coming up in the coaching sessions or also the group and the team coaching sessions. Lately, I have emphasized a lot the coaching in teams, with teams, and with groups of people, because it's a very efficient tool. And it's not to promote anything, it's just to explain that it's a little bit more of a new development by my practice that teams of people who are looking for higher performance, more harmony in a team, and for the leader to also understand how he can or she can complement himself or herself with the competencies, with the skills, with the characters that are needed to make a team not only efficient, highly performing, but also nice to work with and look forward each time they meet with each other for that moment. It's camaraderie, definitely. It's fun, definitely. But it's also collective responsibility, accountability. All of those things that the coach can eventually watch for the team or by triggering questions or listening actively to the different people that are participating, encouraging them to engage and go through the coaching journey like an individual coaching journey, really establishing goals, defining the metrics, how to measure progress, and then really reassess each time we can, every 2 weeks, every month, where we are and how we're progressing as a team. That's a fantastic, fantastic tool. I'm extremely excited about it. Anyway, now to the theme of today. Why do I talk about a lifetime employment with yourself? Why do I bring up this issue? Because there is so many things that have happened. Anyway, by decades, maybe we can say each decade. And if you look at 2000, just 2000, coming to the 21st century, that's 2 decades plus 3 years, right? And amazingly, I don't know the cycle if we can really say there's an algorithm in the economy, but you're going to have those cycles in your executive existence, management existence, employees existence, working for an organization that you'll be laid off. You'll have people laid off in your own team without asking your opinion or your input. Decision will be made because it's not going to be made for you. They will make will be made because instead of you, because there is a power above you, the ownership of the organization and the upper management. Whatever the decision is and why a decision is made, that a large, very established software company will lay off 20,000 people, and it will happen in a very quick rollout without necessarily giving an excuse or giving any reason, but giving, of course, severance packages. And so just saying goodbye. And also this incredible, nice sentence that the HR will always say to you, you might be reemployed. And in fact, sometimes it happens. Absolutely. But you are, and please, let's face it, let's be very realistic about this. When you sign up for a job, you've been through the interview process, been happy to be selected, you started your new position, you're in power of something because you manage people eventually, and you also own maybe a P&L that you're accountable for. Whatever the amount of responsibility you have, and what is the expectation that has been told to you and written to you of what is expected of you about performing, all of those things variate. Nothing is fixed. Would you agree? Nothing is fixed. It's terrible, but that's what it is. We would love to wake. I don't know if you really love it, because if you take this from another perspective of, I love stability. I know that at least I can pay my bills and know that next month I will be able to do the same. Or I need to invest in a house, buy a house. So then I have to sign the contract. And it's amazing. We sign contracts, mortgage contracts, agreements, right? Car leases agreements, right? They are terribly stringent on you. They're not going to be fired. They're not going to be laid off. You're going to have to pay, and if you don't, you'll be in trouble. You'll pay interest. You'll pay fines, late fees. You'll be then after that going through different processes that I have seen for people that have to bear, like having your car taken back by the leaser, but in a very, very harsh way. So there is things that are inflexible on one hand, and the source of what is in fact making those things happen for you because you need them materialistically. You need a house, you need a roof above your head. You want to raise your children and pay tuition for their studies, and the higher they go in college and everything, and if you're still in charge of paying that, it's very expensive. You've got your utilities, you've got your fixed charges, your overheads, call it this way. They are irreversible. You need to pay them. There is no choice. And on the other hand, this is the joke, if I may say, you've got yourself completely engaged in an employment with a company that is there for you because they need you at this very moment, and you need them. But realistically, whatever happens above you, and for whatever reason, you're totally dependent on everything, dependent on your boss's mood and character, dependence on the whole company's the way it's ran. You're not running the company. Rarely do you do so, even if you are a general manager or even the president or even the CEO of the company. You're still not running it so much. There is a board of directors. There is all kind of influences. So please assess the level of your real power. Be realistic about it. Look in front of the mirror. What do you control the most of your life? This is really the real question. And it's amazing that a coach has to bring back always the coachee to this reality. You are going to be fired, or you're very afraid you're going to be fired. There's always this thing about being afraid, by the way, that also brings other topics that we'll address another time, because it makes you really vulnerable. But if you shift your mindset and you realize that here you're employed, you've been employed 10 years, 20 years, still every morning when you wake up and you go to work or work from home, and expect that check to come twice a month. Sometimes this is usually, I think the cadence is every 2 weeks in the US, every month, probably abroad. My point is to you is, you get this check, it's predictable. There's no reason for this not to happen. But sorry to say, many people have this surprise one day that the pink slip comes to on their desk and they are laid off. And then it's a disaster. They were not prepared. It's a huge surprise. Now, okay, so you follow me. You see where I'm getting to. I'm getting to shifting your mindset that you own your own destiny. That if you are taking that responsibility, that just your employer of today is the one of today. But you need to take some actions. You need to do some things so that you are more in control of that destiny of yours. Or you have faith in God and you put everything into God's hands. That's probably I would say, the most honorable and I don't know how to define this, but I don't want to say easy. I never want to use the word easy. It's not easy to have faith, But if you have faith in yourself already, we are going to start somewhere, because it's very, very important. It's vital. If you don't have faith in yourself and you put yourself completely in the hands of your boss and of your employer, we're in big trouble. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you, and I give you a very concrete example, take a little bit more of the control of this, and I'm not talking about loyalty and about integrity. I beg you to be loyal. I beg you to have integrity, to have high values when you go to work, and also to have faith that tomorrow you'll still have the job, and have faith in the company that you work for because they are smart people running it. But there's all kind of things that are also external to them that could change everything overnight. You know that. You know that. So think of those people in Ukraine, in Russia, wherever, where there's a war, and one morning they had to wake up, everything was gone. Everything was gone. And children of the Holocaust, like me, children of immigrants who are immigrants in the U.S., they know this aspect of temporality, of things that are not, predictable. So, what is it that you can do best? Even when you put your money on a stock or in a bond, right? Or in a saving account, you never have a guarantee that you're going to see that same amount of money coming back to you, especially in an inflation like this. Money is losing and losing and losing value every single day. So, you're not in control of anything like that. You're dependent on all of this. If you want to be dependent, because you have a free choice about something, cut those umbilical cords one by one. You're too dependent on too many things. And I'm telling you, if you just reflect on that, just that, for a few days, and if my words could influence you to do that exercise, I want to so much, I'm insisting with passion that people take this very seriously. Very seriously. Because if you do that and you gain more and more control of your destiny, of your career, of your unknown employment, of this check you want to have every 2 weeks coming to you or every month, because you're an employee, you don't have the entrepreneurial mindset. You have never had a plan to create your own business, and it's totally respectable. So my point is, you work for a company, but you're very dependent. And measure that level of dependency, because if you measure that level of dependency, I'm not talking about any other things in life you're dependent on that you could also assess in the same way. I'm talking about just work. I'm talking about just your career, your payroll, your pay, your pay stub. I'm talking about your employment. Sorry, I'm insisting so much to be very clear with you and looking in your eyes and say here, in your eyes, that you making a big mistake to keep those dependencies, to be afraid of your employer, to be afraid of your boss that is going to kick you out, to do things that are stupid, to be lying, to be fake, to be not yourself because you're so afraid to make a decision, to take a risk, that if you do so, and they say that you protect your back, don't protect your back all the time. Maybe there's sometimes you need to, but I'm saying most of the time, if you really reflect on this, evaluate it, and you'll see. Most of the time, you're making a big mistake to be afraid, because you own your destiny, because you signed your employment contract with yourself for a lifetime, And that makes you feel good. I'm employed, guaranteed. I can't be fired. I have been signing this contract with myself or with God for a lifetime. Every single day. I have no dependency on my employer. They don't control my life. They don't control my bank account. All right, listen, I said enough about that. But it is, I think, a very important point, because it's going to make you feel much better when you receive that pink slip. You're so prepared already that it's going to happen, that you already have your backup, because you are having an employment contract with yourself. So you know that you're marketable. You know that the market needs you, that you're good at what you do. You have the skills. You've been proving yourself so many times. In fact, have a super resume, and you can substantiate everything you write in there, the revenue you generated, the various things that you did, building a team, being the bright decision maker who allowed the company to do this and that. And thanks to that, the company, this and that. And you bought out the company and in a function of M&A or corporate development function as an executive and found an opportunity for the company that you work for to survive. Because for market share, you had the idea of buying this company, you bought the company, they did this at a good interest rate, and then the company now is rolling because of your decision. Oh, all of this is beautiful, but I'm sorry, if there is a layoff plan and a rollout going on, even you are the best in the company, your pay is even the highest in the company. In fact, that would be the first reason why you'll be the first one out. So I'm just telling you, realistically, right? Employ yourself, please. Be ready each time with your backup plan. Maintain your relationships. Reconnect with people that were meaningful to you because they work somewhere where maybe they have a job ready for you. Continue to communicate with them. Create your own board of directors, your personal board of directors, because you are a board member of your own destiny, of your life. Bring in the people that like you, that know you, that can recommend you, refer you, and update yourself with them and update them with your own updates. And if you have a job for someone, remember, you know, this and that person, that would be the best person for you to be in your team, because that's what happens. If you do that, you've got your backup plan, you've got your employment saving account, and you are in fact fulfilling your obligation to be always employed. Make that an obligation to yourself. It's in your contract. I will not let any external factor allowing me to be fired or laid off and not have another plan, a backup plan. So number one, and I'm closing now for today, shift your mindset. Emphasize for yourself the importance of shifting from the traditional employment mindset, those dependencies, those umbilical cords that are just artificially set, that you can really cut right away and don't have any dependency on. Encourage you to yourself to believe in your capabilities, in your adaptability. Trust yourself. You know how much self-confidence, in fact, will help you in every aspect of life. Self-confidence is not only a conviction, but you have to do this every day. And if you need help with a coach, with a therapist, whatever in fact triggers your lack of self-confidence can be a deeper reason. That's why I say therapist. But I really tell you, do not let that also control you. The second thing I want to say, as I said to you, is your lifetime employment is with yourself, and so not with your employer. And so the concept of a lifetime employment is something maybe new to you when you hear it. I just hope that it resonates because it's crucial. So there is so many things I can tell you and examples I can share. Embrace this mindset. Think of entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, like Richard Branson, like, I don't know, all those people who were visionaries. They trusted themselves, sometimes even too much, because that's called ego sometimes, or, or I don't know what. But they feel that they own the world. And if they are successful in billions, doesn't mean that you have to be the same. Billions are not going to be, the kind of amount you need, hopefully, to pay your bills. What I'm trying to say is they trust themselves. Think of those people as maybe some role models, some benchmarks for you in some aspect of who they are that will help you eventually see in yourself the same element, the same DNA, right? Of self-resource, of being resourceful, and this is really important. Then I would say to you to embrace change and be resilient, because change is always shaky, but be prepared for it. There is no need of vaccines for that. It's your only vaccine and immunization from being vulnerable, from being surprised, shocked, and panicked for something you were not expecting, is to be prepared for it. And that means to be strategic about it and create some rituals literally, of discipline, to work for yourself, to think for yourself, and spend some hours every week looking for your next job, refining your brainstorming about what you would love to do. Because the truth is, it's possible, it's accessible to everybody to be able to play your own talents and skills and your desires of what you want to spend your time on and make it quality time and meaningful time. So then it goes us, it feels, it ends up to the fourth point I want to make, which is fulfillment and purpose. We can really, really relate whatever we know what to do, data analyst, accountant, physician, executive in terms of business, like salesperson, a sales manager, a chief growth officer when you are in the C-suite, all the different functions. And when people talk about their passion, I find sometimes the word extreme. I don't think they want to talk about their passion. They're in fact dreaming of spending their time when they make a living doing something they like. Maybe ask yourself that very question. Am I at this stage of my life now where I should be, where I want it to be? Ask yourself that question, and with your answers, reassess where you should be if you're not in the right place, and at least prepare for the next move to be closer to your dreams and to what you want for yourself. Shift your mindset. Sign your lifetime employment with yourself. Embrace change and resilience, and make your life fulfilled and purposeful. Make it really meaningful. And really, I think this is what our mission as coaches is to do for many aspects of all the topics we deal with every day. But this one, when there is a layoff, when there is this shock that someone is going to change his life overnight, that someone took a decision for that person and that person was so dependent on that decision, that makes me almost sick to think how much people are naive about it, and they are damaging themselves because they are so dependent on all of this. Gain your freedom, right? And celebrate. Thank you.